In Hollywood, losing a bidding war usually just means you move on to the next project. But for one of the biggest names in horror, it allegedly cost someone their job. In early 2023, Jordan Peele, one of the leading directors in modern horror today, was in a high-stakes race to land one of the most anticipated scripts in years. But when another studio swooped in with a bigger offer, Peele reportedly parted ways with his longtime manager. What script was it? Zach Cregger's Weapons. After the massive success of his horror hit Barbarian, director Zach Cregger dove into his next project, Weapons. But this time, it wasn't just about making another scary movie. The idea was born out of grief following the loss of his close friend Trevor Moore, Cregger's longtime friend and collaborator. He started with the opening of the movie, a child's voice saying, "This is a true story," and built an entire mystery around it.
It was like a terrible, terrible time for me. Trevor Moore, who I was in The Whitest Kids with, died very, very suddenly, and so I just sat down to just start writing, just to engage with my pain in a way that was not destructive but constructive. So I wasn't sitting down to write a movie. I was sitting down to just write, to soothe myself. And so I started with the first line, a girl's telling a scary story, and okay, so she goes to school, what happened to her teacher? I mean, literally sentence by sentence, I'm discovering the story as I go.
At the heart of Weapons is a mystery that's both strange and unsettling. A whole classroom of kids suddenly vanishes, leaving only one behind to tell the story, or maybe to hide something. What makes this so gripping is that the movie never gives easy answers, instead pulling viewers deeper into the fear, confusion, and secrets surrounding the event. The style feels like a mix of David Fincher's sharp, controlled tension and Denis Villeneuve's slow, heavy suspense, but Cregger adds his own touch. He brings in moments that feel raw, weird, and surprising, keeping the film from just copying others. The film follows the perspective of 6 characters, each embodying a piece of the mystery that binds the story together. Josh Brolin plays Archer, a grieving father whose desperation to understand his son's disappearance pushes him toward obsession. Julia Garner portrays Justine, a compassionate teacher haunted by the inexplicable vanishing of nearly all her students. The film does a good job of showing both her compassion and her cracks. She's not just reacting to the mystery, she's pulled into it emotionally, struggling with guilt, fear, and the need to protect the one child left behind.
The thing that I always found interesting with her is that her intention was very pure, but the execution was sometimes a little up in the air. And her heart, she has a very big heart. And I personally love characters and scenes and just films that her character starts out one way and ends completely differently.
Other characters like Paul, played by Alden Ehrenreich, James, played by Austin Abrams, Marcus, played by Benedict Wong, and the lone child left behind, Alex, played by Carrie Christopher, each bring their own different piece to the puzzle, even when their stories don't directly overlap. What makes Weapons so compelling is how these disconnected threads manage to collide, sometimes by chance and sometimes by force, until the viewer realizes the story isn't about one clean mystery being solved, but also about how tragedy spreads across lives in unexpected, haunted ways. It's a structure that feels almost like Pulp Fiction, fragmented, overlapping, and unsettling. A big part of why Weapons is resonating with audiences is its cinematography. The film uses careful framing and unique camera movements to amplify unease. There are a few cheap jump scares here and there, but this film relies heavily on slow, lingering shots that are very effective and I think makes up for it. Some of the best uses of these moments occur in its dream sequences. One of the most striking dreams occurs when Josh Brolin's character, Archer, finds himself alone in his house after a tense night, and finds himself looking at a house with a gigantic gun floating in the air with an alarm clock on it, which reads 2:17, the time when all of the children disappeared from their houses. What makes the scene so effective and not jarring is that Cregger establishes early on that the audience is in a dream sequence. Subtle cues like distorted sounds and the slightly warped framing of the room signal that we're in a dream. This approach allows the visual intensity of the gun to be fully felt, without breaking the story's grounded, lived-in feel. Which, by the way, is one of the best aspects of this movie. The camera work and production design make every location, whether it's the school, the police station, or the homes of the characters, feel real and lived in. This realism is crucial for a story like Weapons, where the horror doesn't come from monsters, but from the unraveling of ordinary lives. Now, despite all the strengths that I've mentioned, Weapons has faced criticism for some viewers, and it's easy to see why. The reveal of how the children went missing can feel hollow to those who expect a fully satisfying explanation. The mystery builds so intensely over the first 2 acts that the payoff doesn't land with the same weight for everyone. Some critics have also pointed to the film's slow pacing, especially in the stretches where character perspectives unfold independently. While this structure builds tension, it can definitely test the patience of viewers who prefer a more direct narrative. Something I find interesting is the film doesn't give a comforting resolution. Instead, it leaves a more bitter, sour taste, showing that trauma and grief don't always have neat endings. This is effective because it mirrors real-life tragedy. Some questions remain unanswered, and people are left to carry the weight. By doing this, Krager reinforces the film's theme of uncertainty and the personal cost of trying to make sense of our personal grief, perhaps a reflection of Krager's personal loss. And for that, I give this film its much-deserved credit. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Keep in mind that all opinions of this movie are my own, but I would love to know your thoughts on Weapons in the comments below. Thanks for watching.